quite literally. Please keep that in. All right. Go in like 5 seconds.
That's what she said.
Welcome back to the Dynasty Happy Hour. The Triforce is back in the building. We are going to talk some news, and we are going to recap our hot take episode, which is always fun to hold ourselves accountable and to see how we did. And we all know that James was the star last year. Evan Engram, who, by the way, was 4th in the NFL in receptions this year, out of nowhere through week 18. So, yeah, not a bad little follow-up season. I do want to say thank you if you're watching on YouTube. We go live every Tuesday, usually around 9, unless Tyler has deliveries to do, then 9:20. So make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. Check us out on Facebook as well. If you're following us there, you'll see us live. Feel free to drop some comments. We can get to them as we record here on Tuesdays. We got a lot of exciting things that are going to be happening in the offseason because, honestly, it's the best part of Dynasty season is the offseason. So I am here for it. I'm here with James and Tyler. Before we get into everything else, I want to give a shout out to Underdog. They are doing daily best balls right now. Playoff draft lobbies are already forming. There's all sorts of exciting stuff on Underdog. You can also play NBA. You can do hockey. And it's the best way to play daily fantasy. I did a crazy prop bet where I bet $10 to win 1,000. I was looking for an Austin Hooper touchdown for a multiplier. Didn't get it, but you know what? Sometimes go crazy, folks. So yeah, there's a lot of fun, different ways to play on Underdog. And if you use code DHH today, you can have your deposit up to $100 matched right away. So once again, code DHH up to $100 matched today. Let's get into some news. I'm going to roll through the news here, and then I'll have the boys chime in as we go through. So we've got some coaching news. Actually, I'll let Tyler chime in on this one because I know he went from 6 to midnight when this was posted on Twitter that Arthur Smith is no longer the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. Tyler.
Oh, you wait till he's offensive coordinator for the Patriots when Mike Vrabel is the head coach. And I had somebody ask me today, why do you say that? And I said to them, they were connected together in Tennessee. And Vrabel is probably going to go to New England, if I were to guess. Arthur Smith would follow him. I don't doubt that. Like he could retire and just go to
the rumors have been Josh McDaniels is coming back.
Oh.
Yeah, I did see that today.
Hey, you need new tires on your car because of snow? Well, we got these ones that are about 20%.
The Patriots are addicted to hiring coaches that are being paid from another team. Because it's a cheapskate move. Like if they hire Vrabel, he's getting paid from the Titans for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
So the Pats in essence don't really have to pay him.
Yeah, that and Arthur Smith is also Doug.
Was that 17,000 a day or something like that?
I am absolutely pumped, by the way. And there are rumors of some coaches that I don't want to be a Falcon head coach, but I've heard rumors that they're going to make a splash at quarterback. That is, if they will trade up from 8. I found out they're pick 8 again. It seems like every year they're pick 8. So, hey, we're pick 8 again. They could trade up from 8.
7 and 10.
They want to make a big hiring at head coach. So those are the 2 big moves they're going to make. And as long as they can get Drake London and Kyle Pitts and Bijan Robinson, all those touches that we want, I'll take anybody. Eric Bieniemy would be fantastic there, and he has been rumored to the Falcons. He might get an interview. So if he goes to the Falcons, wheels up for everybody.
I like it.
We'll see. Lots of coaching moves. As we alluded to, Mike Vrabel is done in Tennessee after back-to-back losing seasons. Just won Coach of the Year just a couple of years ago, remember?
He's a really good coach.
Yeah, so I guess there was some they were talking about it on the radio today, and I guess there was some strife between him and the GM. He did not approve of them trading A.J. Brown, and there was just not a very good relationship, it sounds like, with some of the personnel moves that the GM made. So Vrabel not super happy with that. So he moves on. I'm sure he's going to pick up a job, whether it's with the Patriots or not. Who knows? But I think he is a good coach, and he'll find work pretty easily. The Commanders fired Ron Rivera, who lasted through 3 name changes. So he will be the only coach to ever coach the Redskins, the football team, and the Commanders. So fun fact from Ron Rivera.
And he has no idea. Like, he has no idea these name changes happen because he has no idea about his team. If you have not heard anything about Ron Rivera, any of his press conferences, he's like, oh, well, we weren't even going to play Sam Howell. Like, he has no idea what's going on with the team. So,
yeah, it's a little weird. So Rivera's out of there. The Commanders want to make a spicy move. They just hired an executive from the Golden State Warriors, apparently, for their front office. So they're looking to make some big moves. So it'll be interesting to see what they do at head coach. They actually requested permission to interview me for director of fantasy football operations.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
You declined, of course.
Can I get an
declined.
internship?
I was like, nah, man, I'm good. I got this DHH gig. I don't want to move.
Oh, yeah.
Is it remote? Like, maybe. Patriots head coach Bill Belichick, who still has a job, said he would be willing to give up personnel duties if that was determined to be something that could help the team going forward. Rumors here in New England is that there's been a lot of different talk. One is that Belichick is like begging to stay, and he's willing to relent the personnel duties. Thank God. I don't know what's going to happen here, so I don't want to speculate. Time will tell. And there's going to be a lot of coaching interview requests, so keep an eye on those. We've already seen those kind of come through. So that's kind of the roundabout for coaches. There's currently 5 head coaching jobs that are open. Could be another 1 or 2 here as we go through, depending on what happens with the Patriots.
I think we're up to 6 now.
Is it 6? With Vrabel?
Yeah.
I was
With Vrabel and
with Bill Belichick is it's funny because giving up the GM responsibility, you know, we all know his draft picks. And I was listening to Michael Lombardi's podcast from Monday yesterday, and he was saying, oh, Bill Belichick makes bad moves. Well, let's look at this. You know, Hall of Famer here, Hall of Famer here. And I couldn't understand him because
in 25 years, you're going to get some of them right.
Well, he was so far up Belichick's ass, I couldn't understand what Lombardi was saying. So yeah, I mean, we all know the mistakes he's made. Anything on the offensive side, he sucks. And if it's a defensive player, Belichick knows his defensive players, so he can hit there. Just keep him away from the offensive positional players. That's all.
Yes, 100%. Some player news. Kirk Cousins, when asked about the possibility of taking a hometown discount in his next contract with the Vikings, Kirk said, I think that God has blessed me financially beyond my wildest dreams. So at this stage of my career, the dollars are really not what it's about. We shall see. He's obviously made probably close to $200 million in his career. Not bad for a guy that looks like a substitute teacher, but plays really, really well on the field. So Kirk Cousins could be back with Minnesota.
He will.
I think he does.
I think he does too. I think that he realizes that it's a really good situation for him. He's got a family. He's got Justin Jefferson, who they'll obviously pay. I think it's the best case scenario for him for his career is to stay in Minnesota. So hopefully he does that. They have like the 12th pick. So they can add some talent around him if they decide to sign him for a couple of years, 1 year. We'll see what they do. I think they lock into him fairly long term, I would say. So before we move on to our hot takes, or do you guys have any other potent potables about any of the news at all?
No, I think there's a lot of coach carouseling go around right now, and to speculate, it would be wasting time.
100%. I want real, like, this person was hired, boom, let's talk about it, versus like, oh, this could happen. Like, yeah, agree. I don't like hot air.
Yeah, like there was a report today about Russell Wilson possibly staying with the Denver Broncos. This is just smoke.
Yeah,
it really.
Jerry Jeudy wants to keep him. He was very upset. You want to know why? Nobody else will throw Jerry Jeudy the ball except Russell Wilson.
Now, Jarrett Stidham threw it to him this week.
Well, then what is Jeudy talking about?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Just like I don't know. So seasons have wrapped up officially. If you played in a Week 18 league, God forbid, why?
It's over.
But if you did, and you haven't bought a trophy yet, and you need to reward your champion or even your loser in the league, go to Trophy Smack right now. They have the best fantasy football trophies in the business. They also do hockey, basketball, baseball, soccer. Everything's customizable. If you want to do fantasy spike ball, fantasy like cornhole, whatever, they have trophies that you can customize for that. Use code DHHRing, get a free $60 championship ring with the purchase of a trophy or belt. And like I said, they have stuff for the losers in your league as well. All sorts of fun stuff. They have like a Borat bikini almost, like onesie that says like fantasy on the front and loser on the back.
How they get in the Doug's top drawer.
Yeah, I don't lose too many leagues, Tyler. I believe you lost more than I did this year, but that's okay. We don't need to talk about that. Once again, that's code DHHRing for that free ring at checkout.
Burn.
I didn't even hear it, so it didn't burn me at all. Not even
Nah.
singed. All right, let's
Tyler's
talk.
on fire.
Yeah,
Or no, that's just his hair.
that's his
Sorry.
red hair. Yeah,
Oh, haven't heard that one before.
that's just the gonorrhea, James. It's fine.
I got that fixed. All right.
Sweet herbs.
I got
Told you
that
that. Told you that in confidence. Damn it.
sweet herbs.
And it's nice working at the Mayo Clinic. You can just be like on my lunch break, be like, "Hey, can you give me some meds for this
Pharmacy's
burning
right
sensation
there.
I got going on?"
Sorry, I got a little burning itch. Can you just pass the penicillin?
Yeah, we got something for your crabs later. We'll talk about it.
It's a
All right.
calm. I know.
No, it's the lawnmower 5.0. Let's talk hot takes. This is always a fun one. We'll go Tyler, Doug, James, and kind of go around and explain what happened with our hot takes. And Tyler, your first one here, I'll give it to you in case you don't have the show sheet in front of you. I wouldn't expect you to be prepared. Tyler, your first hot take was that Alexander Madison would be a top 5
We can
running
move on.
back in 2023. Just for the record, James was kind enough to update the sheet with all the standings. He finished at running back 38.
Oh, I
He
took
was-
pleasure
say
in updating
30s.
that answer.
He was a running back 4.
You know what, James? How was your Damian Pierce love this
Hey,
year?
hey,
My
hey,
wa-
let's
hey,
not
wait.
put the cart in front of the horse, please.
Yeah. Wait,
That's
wait,
not how podcasts work, Tyler. Be
That's
a
not
professional.
how you drive either.
read the show sheet.
Yeah, I was absolutely wrong. Ty Chandler was definitely the more explosive back in this offense. To be real, I don't want anybody on this offense for running back. I do think they will either draft one or with this stacked free agent class, maybe get somebody on the cheap.
It's fair enough.
Like
Could happen.
Tony Pollard in this offense would look really good.
You're gonna have to pay him. Who knows?
I don't think you have to
Again,
pay Tony
speculation.
Pollard.
Again, speculation. I don't want to talk about it. All right. Well, that's an easy one. Tyler wanted to avoid that one like the plague.
That's why I'm not showing my face.
That's
Not allowed
yeah. You
I
should.
got the shun lady behind me from Game of Thrones, just ready to ring the bells.
Nice. My first hot take on our episode was Ezekiel Elliott will score more fantasy points than Ramondre Stevenson. Now, Zeke finished at RB 30. Ramondre finished at RB 35. Now, I know this was supported by Ramondre getting hurt, but my thinking was that Zeke was going to come to New England and he was going to poach the touchdowns from Ramondre. Now, the Patriots didn't score a lot of touchdowns, but Zeke was free in dynasty leagues, more or less. And he ended up being like a back end RB1 in some crucial weeks in the fantasy playoffs. I'm still in on Ramondre Stevenson going forward because I think he is really talented and this offense can only get better. But Zeke,
Arthur Smith.
we got a ding, ding, ding. I got the first hot take right. Zeke outscoring Ramondre. So I feel pretty good about that thus far.
It was a great take, by the way. I listened
Thanks.
back. It was very nice.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. And then, James, you had Sam Howell would be the QB 10 in 2023 and QB 15 in 2024 Dynasty. He finished as the QB 12, but he was inside the top 10 for a while. And Dynasty, he is slid again
Yeah.
because he got benched. Jacoby Brissett came in, they benched. He had like the mini Mac Jones moment, but he wasn't as bad as Mac Jones.
I think at one point in the season he was quarterback 4. And I'm
He-
like, oh my
before the
God,
bye
I'm
week.
gonna get another hot take.
Yeah.
And
Before
then
the bye week, he was like top 5.
and then the offensive line's true colors really showed. And his sync with his receivers were totally messed up. We saw Brissett come in and just start to play like a regular quarterback to
Yeah.
a certain extent in one of those games. Typically, what was that, week 15? He was really bad. He got benched halfway through in the semifinals.
Yeah, and then Brissett scored on like 2 drives in a row.
And to be fair, Sam Howell, I believe, was Dynasty QB 28 this year, 29 at the beginning in the offseason. So the
That's where he
fact
is
that
now again.
yeah, I mean, he didn't lose any value. I was hoping that he would gain some value, but that's what happens when you take shots, and you take shots on 5th round rookie picks.
Hey,
Guess
he
what?
was a,
we
he
got
was
a
a
starter.
startable
We
asset
got a
this
starting
year.
quarterback out
Yeah.
of him for at least 1 year, and I don't think it's the last we've seen out of Sam Howell. If they do decide to go out and get a quarterback in the draft,
Oh,
there are rumors out there.
Yeah, I mean,
know
they're
what?
the number 2 pick. So
They might turn around and try to trade Sam Howell because one of those teams is going to be out there just needing a great backup.
That's not a bad idea, but if this team wants to build in the trenches, there is legit a Trent Williams style left tackle in Joe Alt, who is
Yep.
already crowned as an 10-year All-Pro. Like, this guy is the real deal since a lot of, maybe Larry Tunsil, and he's turned out pretty good. But Joe Alt would be the only pick I could see them making other than the quarterback. And if they go that route, Howell's saved. If not, your best option is hopefully a trade.
And you know what? The good thing about Alt is you can draft him, you can control Alt, and then your quarterback won't get deleted.
Get the fuck out of here. You are so happy you can't see my face right now. So just
A little
father disappointment.
I heard I was listening to
so
a podcast.
keyboard.
I forget who to credit it, but they said that Sam Howell could have a career similar to like a Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
Like he's
fair.
productive, he's fun to watch, but he's not like
He's got a great arm, and he's got to work on his
mobile.
decision making.
So I could see that. Maybe he
Holds the ball.
plays for a handful of different teams. He's a spot starter and he's fantasy relevant because I think that he's got, he reminds me so much of Baker Mayfield when I watch him play.
Mhm.
So
It looks like him too.
that's probably his ceiling, and I guess that's okay. I
Yeah.
think for where you drafted him, I'm perfectly okay with that.
Tampa Bay is licking their chops right now. Well, in like
Hey,
5 years.
Tyler, we're coming back to you. Are you ready?
No, I don't want to hear him because I had a horrible, horrible year with hot takes.
All right. Tyler's number 2 hot take was Quentin Johnson would be the wide receiver 1 for the Chargers. He wasn't.
How do you feel
Not
about that,
even close,
Tyler?
Like 102, maybe.
No, it was like
102.
3.5.
Yeah,
Wide
I mean,
receiver
Mike
3.5.
Williams goes down for the season, so you're thinking Quentin Johnson. That's the opportunity. That was not it. Keenan Allen, Josh Palmer goes down. And you're like, all right, here it goes. And then Keenan Allen goes down, and you're like, oh, Quentin, nope.
He dropped
Man.
the ball, let's just say, in
A
many
lot.
ways. So I was telling, I think it was James. I was telling you or Doug when we were playing for. I like rooting for underdogs, people that other people don't like, and I will change my opinion on them. And I have done that too many times. I looked at my notes on CJ Stroud, which we'll probably get to, and I actually had him at 1B, and I said, if you didn't look past the height, or if you did look at the height, CJ Stroud should be 1 in my quarterback notes. And I rooted for Bryce Young because we'll get to that. But
Are we
because,
putting that? Why you keep putting the
Because
horse in
I
front
had
of
a
the cart?
horrible
Because he has
year.
nothing to stand on right now with this
I have
Quentin
a
Johnson
horrible-
take. That's why.
I have a horrible year. I was absolutely wrong on Quentin Johnson. If you can get anything for him, I traded him for Traylon Burks, and I'm still very excited about that trade. Like, I will take anything. Give me Austin Eckler for him, because Austin Eckler is.
Yeah. In Dynasty, it might be quitting Johnson, not Quentin.
I don't have any of
And
him
the Chargers
anymore.
are in the running for another top 5 wide
So-
receiver again.
We forgot about the Chargers head coach situation. They're looking at the Rams defensive coordinator. They did that with Staley. Why are they doing this again?
They just interviewed Kellen Moore today because he deserves
Oh my
it.
God! Like, what?
Seth MacFarlane looking ass.
Hire Harbaugh and get over with. Get over with. That's all.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, we'll move on to my second hot take. It was Luke Musgrave to outscore Dalton Kincaid in his rookie year. Now, this didn't happen. Luke Musgrave had a weird freak injury with like a lacerated kidney or whatever. Not to say that he would have outscored Dalton Kincaid, but things were looking pretty good for Luke Musgrave. So not a terrible take, I don't think. I mean, Kincaid obviously came on towards the end of the season and was averaging like 5 catches a game. So I'm still okay with that. I still like Luke Musgrave and Tucker Kraft going forward. That Green Bay offense, we'll get to that a little bit later with one of my hot takes. But the future's bright there in Green Bay. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, if you miss out on Brock Bowers in this draft, go out and get these 2023 rookies like a Musgrave or a Mayer instead of going for the Texas guy Saunders.
Even a Pender
Sanders.
shot. He had a nice grab this past weekend.
Who, Hendershot?
Mhm.
He's like 80.
God, you and your ageist. All right, let's move on to James's next hot take. It was James Cook, RB5. He finished as the RB12. But did you know that James Cook had the 4th most rushing yards in the NFL this year? That's wild to me.
Yeah.
That's like an underrated, like, wait, what?
He
Kind of
looked
stat.
He looked awesome. Like, he looked
He
elite.
did.
And once they changed coordinators, he showed what he can do. me, myself, and then James piggybacking off me after his rookie year.
You started trading him away.
What? I trade everybody. You got to know this.
Yeah,
Doesn't mean
his
I
You
don't
were
loyalty.
so you were so high
I'm
on
so overweight
Alexander
on James
Madison
Cook. I need to
and
trade
so
some.
down on James Cook, and it bit
What?
you.
Have I ever been down on James Cook, Doug?
I mean, you started to deal him away in some leagues. I wouldn't say you were down on him, but you felt you were overweight on James
I had
Cook.
91 roster ship percentage out of 12 leagues, I think it was at the time.
And just imagine if you didn't move him, you would have been like, damn.
Yeah, I traded Travis Etienne for James Cook straight up his rookie year.
Yeah. So let's move back to me. Oh no, back to Tyler. This one's a good one for you, Tyler. Trey McBride would be a top 7 tight end, and he finished as the tight end 7. You nailed it.
Perfect. Ha! Got one.
Got you.
He was tight end
10
10 going into the season.
He actually come on, James. He was written off. People did not like him.
He really was.
And now he's dynasty tight end 2 or 3.
Yeah.
For me,
I mean, I'd say he's probably 3 after Hawkinson from a lot of people.
I think I'd have him over Hawkinson with
Just because of the injury.
that and the youth. I think he's a couple years younger, and I do have the strong feeling that Arizona will take Marv or Neighbors at the 4 pick. So
He's currently sitting at tight end 9 over on DLF.
No way.
There's
Sam
no way.
Laporta, number 1.
There's no way.
Those will go up when the new startup ADP comes out.
I mean,
for this month.
That's strange. Are you looking at rankings or are you looking at ADP?
Rankings.
Yeah, ADP
no.
is definitely top 3.
Yeah, he's higher than that.
Yep.
For sure.
And
For sure.
I know Dynasty Nerds has him at a value of around Laporta, Hawkinson, and all them. So
Yeah. All right, let's get on to my next one. I had that Najee Harris would finish as a top 5 fantasy running back. He finished as RB23. I didn't see this. Pittsburgh's really always gone with one running back in the history, but Jalen Warren really ate into Najee Harris's workload. But I will tell you this. If you had Najee Harris on your rosters the last 2 seasons, he helped you win a championship because Najee Harris in the fantasy playoffs the last 2 years has been a beast. And when you look at, there was a fun stat. I saw someone tweet about it. It was like Najee Harris has more rushing yards in the last 3 years than like Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, and like a couple of other players you wouldn't think. He's not sexy, but he's consistent. And I don't think he's a bad running back. I think he gets a bad rap in the dynasty space. So yeah, top 5 was a little bold. So yeah, it is what it is. I didn't think Jalen Warren was going to have as much of an impact in that backfield as he did. And Jalen Warren played really well. So they had a nice little 1-2 punch for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year.
yeah, both these guys are nice 0 RB type target to go
Good
for.
values.
Yeah, if you don't want the hero RB in Dynasty, they're great targets.
Yeah, Harris is just consistent. He's never going to be like the RB1 overall in a week, but he'll have RB1 weeks, but he's mostly going to be a solid RB2, and that's fine.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to James's here. And Sky Moore, top 24 wide receiver. Did he even have 24 catches on the season?
I don't think so.
I get the process behind this one.
He's either frozen on camera or he's just not.
He's avoiding it.
us.
He's just, he's not frozen.
He's
standing.
frozen in fear.
We all know the Kansas City Chiefs had problems in the passing game. This was the perfect opportunity for Sky Moore to carve out a role, and he just didn't. They've been struggling to find pass catchers. Rashee Rice was the guy that took over as a pass catcher at the wide receiver position for them. They're obviously going to do something in the offseason, whether it's adding a free agent or in the draft. But Sky Moore, he ain't it. I don't think he's ever going to be a thing. So
He was frozen. Oh my god.
he was. Wow.
Either that.
It
or
was
he
a
just,
frozen. It was a freezing hot take.
Isn't that 3 years in a row for him on Sky Moore takes?
I don't know.
I mean, we all miss. Obviously,
Oh,
I had
100%. We all miss.
I think my Johnson take was actually worse than that. So
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. People are going to chase whoever the Chiefs draft in the end of the first round or the second round. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think they're drafting anybody. I do think that they will go out. They'll restructure a contract.
They got to
Maybe
do something.
Kelsey will restructure and take less money because
He's dust.
his probably soon to be fiance is a billionaire. I don't know.
He's not going to need any money. He'll be fine. All right, let's take a little break here, and we will talk about our friends over at Manscaped. We talked about trimming that area nice and close, or if you want to, make a little pattern or design, you can do whatever you want down there. I don't care. I'm just here to tell you that it is an amazing product. They have a new lawnmower out, the 5.0 or premium or whatever they're calling it nowadays. Absolutely awesome. Tyler, pull some strings and get me the new thing. That's all I'm saying. You can use code DHH for 20% off at checkout on Manscaped. You're also going to get the Weed Whacker, which is a nose and ear trimmer, the Crop Preserver, the Cleanser, the Reviver, all the things to make you feel smooth and smell great. It's all on manscaped.com. Now they have dual LED lighting, so if you want to get into an even darker space and shave, you can do that. Yeah, it's a set of headlights on that thing. It's amazing.
All it needs is like an engine sound.
Yeah, like an actual lawnmower. Like
that would be awesome. What if it was? What if it was a pull start?
That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, check out manscaped.com. Use code DHH for 20% off at checkout. It looks like James has rejoined us. We were talking about Sky Moore. We weren't too hard on you, and we moved on.
Good. Thanks.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
I did say my Quentin Johnson take was probably worse because the expectations for Sky Moore weren't as high as Johnson. And I actually had him as wide receiver 1, and he was in the rookie class. So
yeah, we said the take was so cold that it actually froze your screen.
Yeah.
No, what? Where do you? If anybody knows, we are recording this. It is Tuesday evening, and there is a huge storm system going across the East Coast, and I just lost power.
Yeah, so. I actually used my snowblower today. Yay!
Oh, I won't use that thing for another 2 years, probably.
All right, let's keep it moving here with the hot takes. We are going back to Tyler.
Oh, God.
So Tyler had Drake London, top 5 dynasty wide receiver for 2024. He's currently dynasty wide receiver 14. Now, in a world, Tyler, where they get a QB upgrade, how many spots do you think London can go up? Do you think he can get in the top 10?
I think he would reach above Waddle. I think he'd be 8-ish.
Okay.
I do think Marv will push him back because Marv is going to be a top 5 dynasty wide receiver.
Oh, right when he comes in, for sure.
Right off the bat.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if Neighbors is creeping right behind him just because of all the hype he's getting.
Creepy Neighbors.
Creepy Neighbors. We all got him. But yeah, I still believe, and I know I was talking about Michael Lombardi. I do like his podcast because it's a change away from fantasy. But some of the times I feel like he's just stuck in his old ways, and he's like, Drake London can't separate. Drake London doesn't need to separate, and he does it plenty. We've all seen him succeed when he gets passes thrown to him other than away from him. And also, he was talking about Kyle Pitts and how he can't block and how that's effective and how he's just a receiver. But I don't think they really used him much and helped him progress in that aspect. But, going back to Drake London, I do think he will be a top 10 probably by the end of the season. And I do think the quarterback upgrade will come. If it's not, I think it could be Fields.
Via trade or in the draft.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if it's Fields. They trade up to get a Drake May. I think Penix is too early now for that top 10 pick. Maybe even Jane Daniels, but I do expect him to go top 5.
I love Drake London. I've liked him. He was my number 1 wide receiver in that class. And
I did not like him at first, but I've come around.
No,
let's play this game real fast. DK Metcalf or Drake London in Dynasty?
Drake London.
I'll take London.
Drake London or Brandon Ayuk?
Ayuk.
I think I'm still taking Drake London just because that second contract's coming for Ayuk.
It's Ayuk.
Drake London or Devonta Smith?
Drake London. That passing attack worries me.
Doug?
That's tough. I'll probably go Devonta, but it's close.
All right, I got one more for you. Drake London or Jalen Waddle?
Drake London. I mentioned that.
Jalen Waddle, because I traded London for Waddle.
No, honestly, Waddle, his only issue is he can't stay healthy. If you had a full season of Waddle healthy, it would be to the
I
moon.
mean, he doesn't have any. He gets dinged up here and there, but I get it.
Uh,
right.
I left one name out of that, and for good reason. It was Puka Nacua, because I'm not putting Drake London over Puka Nacua.
No, it's Puka.
But that was enough right there to
I
get
did
Drake
that.
London into the top 10
I
for a
did
dynasty wide
in
receiver. So
bar tab.
that's great.
Doug. I did Puka straight up for Drake London.
Yeah.
Because I think
All right.
I think London has the ability to be that 145 target, 1,400 yards,
For
10 to 12
sure.
touchdown type receiver, and he gets a lot of targets, but they're just bad targets.
Yeah, they're like uncatchable and whatnots.
It's hard to say what that offense is going to be without any
Let's just
You
keep
know.
interrupting Doug.
pieces.
Yeah, I want to try to keep it moving here.
I mean,
So-
no, I'm messing with you now. Go ahead.
Thanks. My next hot take: George Pickens doesn't finish above wide receiver 36. Damn.
No need to see us on that one.
It's the vaccine. It messes up my speech all the time. He finished at
Blamed
wide
it on
receiver.
the vaccine.
I glitch.
Okay, Rodgers.
It's the glitch. He finished at wide receiver 30 on the season. Let me just tell you this about George Pickens. So he ended up having 1,140 yards and 5 touchdowns, but he was very much a feast or famine. I mean, he had 5 games over 100 yards, and he had a big 195-yard 2 touchdown against the Bengals. But he was very frustrating if you owned him. So I don't think I came close, and it was really just kind of betting against Kenny Pickett. And he actually did his best work with Mason frickin' Rudolph.
Who I would not be shocked as a starter next year if he can play well in the playoffs. But George Pickens, you know who he reminds me of? A poor man's T. Higgins. T. Higgins is one of those guys that can go 4 for 40 one game, and then he gets 195 and 2
He
touchdowns.
starts cooking.
I
Yeah.
was going to
That's-
say like
that's
Marquise
Pickens.
Brown. It's just very, very similar
Who
ceiling.
is by the way, Hollywood Brown, my ticket to Kansas City. I think that's their dude.
63 receptions on the season for Pickens.
It just
Yeah.
stinks because you don't know you couldn't know when to start him. Ever.
And his value's all over. It's going to be league to league. Whoever has him, if they love Pickens, he's going to be
They'll
high
give you a
priced.
first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. All right, let's move on to James. We had Damian Pierce as a top 10 running back, and he says, whoops, I meant running back 55. No one saw the rise of Devin Singletary coming,
Not as this bad.
and he played awesome. Singletary was great all year. He's just a good football player.
Yeah.
Devin Singletary. He's consistent. He gets around 1,000 yards every year. He's decent in the passing game. He reminds me of like the Dollar Tree LaShawn McCoy.
I think Tyler tried to warn me about Damian Pierce too, and I wasn't buying it.
I've
So-
never been a Damian Pierce guy. Once he was a 4th round pick, it just reminded me of Samaje Perine style. Like,
Ugh.
hey, if Damian Pierce ends up on an Arthur Smith led team, wheels up. He's their Tyler Algier.
Yeah, right. All right, let's move on to Tyler's last one. It was Anthony Richardson's going to struggle majorly. Bryce Young and Stroud jump him in ADP. God, I can't speak. You know what? These Tuesday night pods are messing me up.
Doug the Fantasy Pfizer.
The
This
five-
is it.
the
This is
fantasy
it.
pod.
This is
I got my 2 shots like Kelsey.
Doug the Fantasy Pfizer.
I got my 2
Are you
shots.
sponsored by him? Jeez.
I'm going to start glitching out. Put me in Wreck-It Ralph.
It's funny because I think Richardson would have been the best rookie quarterback out of all these guys the way he was going and rolling.
Mhm.
The issue is, do you guys think we're gonna see a full 17 games of Richardson the way he plays? Do you think he can last?
I mean, he's
few
he's thicker than Lamar.
But
Like,
Lamar
Like Cam
is-
Newton body type.
Lamar,
Yeah,
though,
I think he'll be
is-
okay.
Lamar to me is somebody who, right when he's getting tackled, he moves.
he's smart. He's not RG3 who's like, I'll just take contact.
yeah. And Cam Newton just tried to run people over like
But
Josh
he was
Allen
also the
has been.
size of a friggin' linebacker.
Well, I mean, to put it in full perspective, we had Anthony Richardson below Bryce Young at the beginning of the season, and Anthony Richardson outscored him, what, in 2 games?
Yeah.
Outscored Bryce
That's
Young
sad.
in quarterback, and probably in fantasy too.
No,
But
no,
at least in touchdowns, and he was running the offense with some credibility before he went down, and I think the pieces there, they cemented Jonathan Taylor there. Zach Moss, a good intermediate back, and we have Michael Pittman. And who else is there now? We've got
Pittman's a free agent. We'll see what happens with him.
Pittman's staying
franchise
in that
tag
team.
him.
Josh Downs.
Yeah.
Hey, Pittman could low-key be.
I've
a
seen
target
I've
for
seen a
Kansas
lot of
City.
mock drafts with 15th overall, the Colts picking Brock Bowers. I've seen it in 2 of them now.
That would be a perfect fit. Him and Richardson would be perfect.
Yeah.
Now that you got my wheels rolling on that, the Chargers and the Colts are my 2 favorite destinations for him.
Yeah. So right now, CJ Stroud is QB7, Anthony Richardson is QB8, Bryce Young all the way down to QB17, having a very Trevor Lawrence-esque rookie year. So yeah, I still think
Stroud
Bryce
is
Young's a buy.
7?
Stroud is QB7. Yeah.
Is this rankings again, or is this ADP?
No.
I can't see Stroud. Stroud to me is, I think I'd take Stroud over Burrow,
That's fair.
just because Burrow keeps getting hurt,
He does.
and like Stroud has shown everything we want to see from a top-notch quarterback. So I
Yeah.
don't.
Joe
Stroud should be-
Burrow's current ADP 44. Oh, well, it's not super flex, but CJ Stroud 50. So they're back to back,
Yeah.
6 and 7.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, I'm going to move on to my last hot take. It was Jordan Love would be a top 10 quarterback. And boys, he finished second in the NFL in passing touchdowns. And he finished as the quarterback 5 on the season.
Nailed it.
Yeah, and for me, it was all about like, look at the weapons that he has around him. He's been in the system. LaFleur's a good head coach. And obviously we saw, and this is with no Christian Watson for most of the season, no Aaron Jones for most of the season. He really did it with Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, who really came out of nowhere. Romeo Dobbs mixed in here and there. Really impressive. Now, he did have some stretches where you're like, oh, he looks bad. But then he was able to course correct and look very, very good. Now, a lot of it was like, oh, based on the opponent. But towards the end of the season, he got them in the playoffs when they played some tough opponents. So Jordan Love, I think he's got it. This is one of Tyler's guys that he's been a big fan of Jordan Love for a long
I've
time.
hung on for so long. I'm so
I know.
happy.
This has definitely paid off big for Jordan Love. I mean, top 10 was a bold prediction, and to him to finish top 5, that's just wild. I mean, I
So-
know the quarterback position saw a lot of injuries, but still.
So I think Jordan Love is going to be one of those kind of Brock Purdy-esque type players where if you like the player, I still think he's obtainable. You can get him
Mhm.
for, honestly, I'd probably give up 106 in this draft class. And I think you can get that done in Superflex. And same with Purdy. Because there's going to be that doubt. There's going to be people be like, well, why did it take Jordan Love so long? Why is Brock Purdy here at a 7th-round pick? Sometimes you just got to push that out of the way and just say, hey, they're producing at an elite level. They're elite, and their value's only going to keep going up. So, yeah, Jordan Love, glad I hung on to that guy.
So
Yeah. Very, very nice. And speaking of guys, I'm glad I heavily invested in. I have him in almost all of my dynasty leagues. James, I had a hot take prepared, but James stepped in front of me and took my guy. He said that Sam Laporta would be a top 5 tight end in fantasy this year. And guess what?
Nobody saw this
He finished as the tight end 1 with a historic rookie season, double-digit touchdowns, over 80 receptions. Laporta, that was the only player in these drafts that I traded up for in drafts in the second round. I traded up for Laporta wherever I could. I took some good deals in leagues for Laporta. Thanks, Al. And yeah, like James, you nailed this one. I'm going to say we nailed this one.
We nailed
because-
this one. And I went back and listened to the playback
Mhm.
and I asked, can we share? And you said, yes, we can share it. So we can share this take. We can share in Laporta's victory. And I am looking forward to many, many top 3 tight end seasons from Sam Laporta.
And
Yeah.
also, good news is he avoided a major knee injury this
Yeah.
past
Yes.
week. And when I saw it, I'm like, okay, that's not crazy enough to where
It wasn't Keaton Mitchell type of bend.
No, it looked like a hyperextension to me, which
Yeah.
was good. But I do want to say, James, whatever tight end hot take you do next year, I am paying attention to it.
Yeah, he's on fire with those. He loves them tight ends.
You're 2
Such
for
an ass
2.
man.
You're 2 for 2. Next time you hit, you're on fire. You're just heating up right now. And Doug is a person you want to look at for future tight ends. James is the one for a hot take. You should go out and get that guy. So like next year, if he's like, oh, Michael Mayer is going to be a top 8 tight end, sell everything for Michael
Go get
Mayer.
Michael Mayer.
Well, I appreciate the confidence in my takes. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are nailing these.
Yeah, no, tight end it's weirdly ends up being my thing, and James has been nailing it. So absolutely. Well, I think that's going to wrap us up for our recap. It's always good to go back and recap, hold ourselves accountable. You can celebrate the wins. You can laugh at the losses, talk about the process, what happened over the course of the season. And that's how it is. And that's how it happens. But I think we got more hits than we did misses. And that's what it's all about. So nice job, boys, on the hot takes. Yeah. What did Rich have?
I didn't list them for a reason.
He had James Cook as a top running back. I know that.
He had James Cook as a top 12 running back.
So we got that one.
Bijan Robinson, #1 in fantasy overall.
Nope.
Thanks, Arthur Smith.
What else did he have?
Saw 48% of the running back touches on his own team. Makes no sense.
Yeah.
Where is it? Then he had Isaiah Hodgins, wide receiver 20 or better.
Whoops.
Oh, woo!
Elijah Mitchell, top 18 wide receiver.
Running back?
Mitchell. You mean Elijah Moore?
Elijah Moore.
Moore. Oh, yeah.
That
was his Brown homerism talking.
Yeah, and then Evan Hull, top 16.
That was injury.
It would have been interesting if Evan Hull stayed healthy.
For sure.
I think he is another one of those sneaky buy lows.
He's the
best pass catching running back in this draft. So
I would go as far as to say that he could be next year's Kyron Williams.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, they did just pay Taylor, but maybe they want to take some.
Taylor's been getting dinged up lately,
and Zach Moss is still there, so maybe they go ahead and look to trade Evan Hull. He was a late pick. What, 5th round, 4th round?
Get rid of Zach Moss because he's
get rid of Zach Moss.
Zach Moss. Trade Zach Moss.
I mean, sure.
Hamburgers.
He was good this year.
He was solid. I mean, he almost had 1,000 yards on the ground, Zach Moss. So.
Which is crazy because he looks so god awful.
Yeah. Buffalo could have used a guy like that instead of Latavius. But hey, whatever. I'm here for it. That is a shout out to Dynasty Nerds, by the way, with Rich. Make sure to go to dynastynerds.com. Check out their content. Garrett Price won UDPL. He's also part of the Dynasty Nerds team. You can go use code DHH for 15% off of any subscription with those guys. They got trade tools, extra Nerd Herd episode, prospect film room scores, Dynasty GM, lots of really cool stuff on Nerds. And they have an app right now, which is on the Android and Apple stores. So check that out. Our friends at dynastynerds.com. And if you're looking for a hoodie or a toque or a hat, check out Viridian Global. Search Dynasty Happy Hour. We got stuff on there too. So shout out to all of our sponsors. That's going to wrap us up this week on the Dynasty Happy Hour. We'll be back next Tuesday. I'm Doug. The faceless one is Tyler. And that's James on the bottom. We'll see you next week.
The Fantasy Pfizer.